Hola clase, today we're going to look at how to make regular affirmative tu commands. Here are some terms I'll be using in this video: command or imperative, affirmative, and direct, indirect, and reflexive pronouns. We've worked with those before in class. Okay, so first of all, what is a command? A command or an imperative form is used in English or in Spanish to advise people, persuade them, or to boss or order them around. You have two different kinds, affirmative ones and negative ones. So an affirmative command might be something like, buy a stylus, Janice, because you're not doing well writing with your finger. Or don't write with your finger. Making affirmative, regular tu commands in Spanish is really easy. You'll learn how to make negative ones later on, and also how to make a very small group of irregular affirmative commands. But for now, we're just going to stick with affirmative commands saying, yes, do that please, just for tu people, and it's really easy. We're not going to start in the place we usually start. Usually we start with an infinitive and chop off the AR, ER, or IR. Instead, we're going to start with the present tense tu form and chop off the S. So we start with comes, get rid of the S, and we get come, which means eat. Or das, if you want someone to give something to you, get rid of the S. Da, give it. Now at this point you may be saying, why don't we just start with the infinitive and chop off the S? And that's a really good question. The reason that we do it is we want to make sure we get all the little stem changers. If we start with the present tense tu form and chop off the S, then we have a super short list of irregulars to learn later on, because we already remember that we have the UE or the IE or the I in stem changers. So same process here. Tu juegas, you play, and we make the S disappear, and it's juega, play. If I want you to close the door, I'll take cierras, chop off the S, cierra. So come, da, juega, cierra mean eat, give, play, and close. Okay, there are a couple of wrinkles. It's really easy to make them, but there are a couple of little weirdnesses that we have to pay attention to. So if we have a verb like te despiertas, that is reflexive. It has a reflexive pronoun here, meaning you wake yourself up. Your mom doesn't have to come in the room and wake you up. We'll follow what I said already, which is take that S, make it go away. But we have one more thing to do. Once you have an affirmative command form that's reflexive, this ending is like a little magnet, and it pulls reflexive pronouns or direct object pronouns or indirect object pronouns to the end and attaches them. So it goes to the end, and that means that I need to write an accent or I lose my Spanish teacher license. Despiértate, get up, wake up. So if we have something like das, in the last one I said give, but give sounds kind of dumb all by itself, so I might want to say like give me something. So that would be an indirect object pronoun, give it to me. So we'll get rid of that S, and if we want to say give it to me, that's me, and again, this is like a little magnet at the end now, so it's dame, give it to me. If we want to use direct object pronouns like Juan come una pizza, and we want to say instead he eats it, we'll take the S, make it go away, Juan come. Okay, now we have to deal with the pizza. What would be a good replacement for pizza to say the word it for pizza? We have a choice of lo, la, los, and las. It would be la. So we'll put this at the end. It's attached at the end. So Juan, cómela. And I need to put my accent on. I need to put a period at the end, and I need to add one more thing. Just like you would in English, you have to add a comma. This is direct address. We're talking to Juan directly. So just like in English, you set that off with a comma, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to tell in Spanish if we meant Juan eat or Juan eats. Let's take a second to talk about those accents that I added. This helps out your reader when you have a really long word when you're adding a bunch of stuff at the end. The place where you say the loudest vowel, which is called tonic stress in Spanish, cómela, despiértate, is going to get a written accent if it is 3 or more spots from the end, 3 or more syllables. So 1, 2, 3, cómela. 1, 2, 3, cómela. Dame doesn't need one because only 2 syllables long. Nothing can be 3 syllables from the end. If you can't hear the loudest vowel in a word, and not everybody can in English or in Spanish, what you want to do is find the syllable before the vowel before the original AR, ER, or IR, and the accent will be written there when you start adding a bunch of stuff at the end. Okay, vamos a practicar with our friend tontín, which kind of means silly or dopey in Spanish, and he is so dopey that he needs our help. Please give him advice. So he doesn't want to study, you're going to say, tontín, study. So tontín no quiere estudiar, you're going to take out the no quiere, and you're going to just tell him, study. Feel free to pause the video if you want to have additional time to think. Tontín, there's my comma, estudia. Now he's got another problem. Tontín no quiere comer. Tell him to eat. Tontín, come. Tontín no quiere bailar. Tontín, baila. Tontín no quiere jugar. Tontín, juega. Tontín no quiere dormir. Tontín, duerme. Okay, so far, so good, pretty easy. Let's mix things up a little bit by adding some direct object pronouns. Lo, la, los, or las. Of course, in Spanish you can say tontín, prepare your homework or prepare the homework. Let's just try saying prepare it instead, just to practice a little bit with adding those things at the end. So tontín no quiere preparar la tarea, let's say prepare it. Tontín, prepárala. Tontín no quiere comer el sándwich. Tontín, cómelo. Tontín no quiere hablar el español. Tontín, háblalo. Tontín no quiere escribir las composiciones. Tontín, escríbelas. Tontín no quiere leer los libros. Tontín, léelos. That is a strange looking one, isn't it, with those 2 E's in a row? It's regular, just silly looking. Okay, let's look at the next thing. He doesn't want to kiss his mom. That's so sad. Tontín, go kiss your mom. Tontín no quiere besar a su mamá. Tontín, bésala. Let's try some reflexives now. He doesn't want to sit down, so let's say sit yourself down. Tontín no quiere sentarse. Tontín, siéntate. Tontín no quiere levantarse. Tontín, levántate. Tontín no quiere despertarse. Tontín, despiértate. Tontín no quiere vestirse. Tontín, vístete. Tontín no quiere ducharse. Tontín, dúchate. Tontín no quiere acostarse. Tontín, acuéstate. And now you can go to bed too because you're done with this video. Let's recap what we've seen. We know that tú commands are used to advise, persuade, and order people that we use tú with. The regular and affirmative ones are really easy to make. We take the present tense tú form and remove the s. We know that tú commands might need you to use a comma if you're talking to someone and put their name in the sentence. You need a comma, just like in English, to set them off because it's direct address. And you might need to add an accent too. If you're adding little words at the end of the sentence and the syllable with a tonic stress is 3 or more from the end, then you need to put an accent on to help your poor reader get through that big long word. And we know that tu commands have direct, indirect, and reflexive pronouns attached at the end, which is what has made us have to worry about adding accents. Ok, es todo por hoy. We'll practice more in class. Hasta la próxima.